What's up, everyone? Welcome to the next segment of our sports betting how-to series where we teach you how to sports bet. My name is Andrew Pace, founder and CEO of InPlay Live, where we teach our robust community and membership base how to profit from betting on sports over the long term. Today we're going to be covering in our Sports Betting 101, how does sports betting work, but more specifically we're going to be talking about betting on the spread and what does it mean to bet the spread. So what is the spread and how does it all work? Really simply put, the spread is what makes any game a coin flip. When you have a really heavy favorite playing a huge underdog, that favorite might win the game 80, 90, even 99% of the time, where their opponent is far inferior or far worse than they are. So that can actually be, from a viewership or a betting standpoint, very, very boring. If we bet on that heavy favorite, we wager $100 on them, and they're, projected to win 95% of the time, we might only make a few dollars back after risking 100, and that's just not exciting for a lot of people. And that's how the spread was created. When we put a spread on a game, it doesn't matter how big of a favorite you have, it can remain exciting to the very final whistle, right until the very end of the game. So, as an example, if we're looking at, let's just say, basketball, we might have Team A as a heavy favorite in the game, where Vegas and the sportsbook have decided that a true coin flip in that game is minus 10.5. What that means is Team A needs to win by 11 or more points to cover the spread. So they're going to win the game, let's say 90% of the time, but with the minus 10.5 spread, theoretically speaking, they're only going to cover it 50% of the time, which then makes the game a lot more exciting. If we wager $100 on it, we're not going to get a $1 or $2 or $5 return. We might get a $90 or $95 return in that circumstance. On the flip side of that, Team B, they're the underdog. They can cover 10.5 points and win the wager, which means that if they lose by 10 or less points or win the game, they covered the spread on the plus side. And we're going to be looking right now at how to bet the spread. All right, so right off the bat here, I am logged into Pinnacle, which is my absolute favorite online sports betting book in Canada for pre-game betting. They offer some of the most favorable lines, which means that they actually pay better than other sports betting sites. If we were to wager $100 on a game on Pinnacle, it might pay us out $5 more than any other site, and that's the kind of thing that actually adds up over time. So when it comes to sports betting the spread, we're actually going to click on basketball, where we're going to see the whole list of games available to us tonight. And the first thing you're going to see right at the top here is the Phoenix Suns minus 3.5 against the Philadelphia 76ers plus 3.5. This means that the Phoenix Suns are the favorite in this game, and you can see that by the money line here. If I click on this money line wager and I go to wager $100, it's going to return me $166.23, but you only profit $66 from wagering that side of the game. On the flip side of that, if I were to click on the Philadelphia 76ers, when I'm talking about betting on the money line, I click, and there you can see it's going to return me $236, but profit me $136. So that is a perfect example of where we see the Phoenix Suns as the favorite in tonight's game. Now, in order to make this game a coin flip, they've put the spread in. So Vegas and the sportsbooks have determined that the Phoenix Suns are a minus 3.5 point spread. This means that they need to win by 4 or more points to cover the spread tonight. Where on the flip side of that, the Philadelphia 76ers can lose the game by 1, 2, or 3 points or win the game to cover their side of the spread. And that's really an example. And as you scroll down here, you're going to see all these different spreads tonight. And here's a much bigger one with the Detroit Pistons taking on the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks are a minus 10.5 point favorite. This means that if you wager them on the money line, if we go to place a $100 wager, we're only going to profit $16.50 if they win. Whereas the Detroit Pistons, we're going to profit $475 if they win. All of these odds listed right now are in American odds, but one of the things that I love about Pinnacle is you can just easily click up here at the top and switch over to decimal if you prefer the decimal odds system. Now, when we're scrolling down here, I'm going to actually teach you how to do point spread betting and actually make a wager on the spread here. So I am a big Golden State Warriors fan, so I'm actually going to wager on them to win tonight. They are slight favorites, but I'm going to wager on them to cover -2. So in this particular case, if the Golden State Warriors win by exactly 2, I'll get my wager back, which is referred to as a push. But if they win by 3 or more, I'll win my wager. If the Warriors only win by 1 or they lose the game, the Washington Wizards will cover the spread in this particular example. So I'm going to wager $500 on this. And as you can see, it's going to return me $480.50. And when it comes to sports betting odds and odds calculators, if you didn't have this, you could just simply take $500, multiply it by 1.961, because that's the decimal odds, and that's precisely the answer here is the $480.50 return. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in that wager tonight on the Golden State Warriors, and that is sports betting the spread. I've also taught you how to read the spread, which I think is something that's very, very important to understand. And there's one last thing that I want to touch on when it comes to the spread itself. You're going to notice that each side of the game is actually in negative odds when we click on American odds, which means that the profits are less than what you wagered. Whereas if it's in plus odds, like the money line here for the Cleveland Cavaliers, that means you're going to profit more than what you wagered. So if I type in 500 here, it's going to return $560. And you can see that there. Now, when it comes to negative odds, when you set a coin flip for any given game and you have negative odds on both sides, that's what's referred to as the vig or vigorish. And what that is the cut that the house takes, and how sports betting books, online sports books, profit off of us, the sports bettors, over time. They're taking theoretical coin flips where in order for us to break even over time, we would need odds of 2.0 or plus 100. And they're putting negative odds on them so that in theory, over time, we lose money. And one of the great things about InPlay Live is we actually teach you how to win money. So I hope you learned a whole bunch today about point spread in betting, and how to read the spread, and how really everything works around wagering or betting on the point spread. If you want to learn more about how you can actually profit from sports betting, click the link below in our bio. We're going to do a little webinar on how you can profit over the long term from live sports betting, which is something that I think if you're interested in this at all, you should definitely check out. And finally, Pinnacle is an amazing sports betting site that I recommend everyone use from a pregame standpoint. It's also a sports book where winners play, which means that if you win money over time, they will continue to allow you to play there. And they have some amazing resources. I'm going to click on betting resources here. And you can see under betting tools, they have lots of things like bet calculators, arbitrage calculators, margin calculators, and a whole bunch more, so that you can get familiar with the changes between American odds, decimal odds, and comparing different sports books odds with each other, which is referred to as arbitrage or sure betting. So I hope you learned something today, and look forward to seeing you soon.